I broke my back.
What do you mean by that? You broke
my back is broken.
What do you mean, calm it down? It's a fight. Referees telling two fighters who want to fight to calm it down? He should calm down.
So he's like a clown in his show, man. He's not your guy.
Because Tyson Fury's back, and all you motherfuckers are under attack.
Look, Eddie Hearn can say all what he likes. Who gives a shit what Eddie Hearn says? It's garbage.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Can you let me retire and be happy? Please, just please.
Bombs away from the Bronx Bomber! Wilder! Let's go, baby! Let's go!
I'm through. They put somebody else up and give me an interview.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You never give me a fair shake. HBO needs to fire you. You don't know shit about boxing. You ain't shit. You not shit.
I wish I was 50 years younger and I'd kick your ass.
I got dropped, man. Are you kidding?
No, you won the fight.
OMG, I am so excited.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. What is up? MCR family, another daily edition of the show live on YouTube, obviously podcast from iTunes, Spotify, radio, etc. I am Matt, the hipster hunter. Obviously, we're going to be discussing all things boxing today on a kind of it's not going to be a small show or limited show due to topics, as we actually have a lot of topics to discuss today, even though it doesn't look like there's much out there. But we're here today on a beautiful Monday morning, and it should be a fun show. I'll be honest, I am deeply sick right now. I am like 101 degree fever, hallucinating all the time. So Rob and Fu, you guys are gonna have to hold it down today, okay? I'm bestowing all the power of the show to you guys, okay? So good luck. But anyways, let me bring over to the Han and Chewbacca, the group. Rob, obviously second cousin, twice removed of Eddie. Robbie Hearns, how you doing today?
All good. Yeah, looking forward to chopping it up. Obviously, you're, not feeling great, but and it's super off-putting that I can't see you on the camera, but never mind.
You can see me on YouTube. It's okay.
Yeah, but that's behind.
You just here. So our YouTube listeners, if there's some lag, it's because Rob just wants to see my beautiful face as well. Rob,
how you doing? I need visual cues.
Rob, obviously second cousin, twice removed of Eddie. Wow, Rob playing the YouTube clip in the background. Wow.
I was trying to keep up. I was trying to sync. I told you it wouldn't work.
Anyways, Rob, how you doing?
Again, I'm good.
Back to you. Back to you. Go with your intro.
Yeah, what we got? Usyk has been told by the WBO that he's the next mandatory to Joshua. So let's see what he does with Takam first. Obviously, a common opponent. What else we got? Deontay Wilder versus Dominic Breazeale landing on Sky Sports. I just had an echo in my ears. This is all going great.
You're good. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So yeah, not on ITV, which is I guess maybe a good sign. Things to possibly come in the future. Although I must say, I was here before when Sky got Wilder Ortiz. But anyway, we'll keep our fingers crossed that that's maybe some kind of goodwill between Showtime and Sky and Matchroom and whatever. But and just some other little bits and pieces. Obviously, happy birthday, Triple G. I believe you're 37, 8 now? 8 maybe? I'm not sure. But a few other little bits and pieces. Hopefully Mike Coppinger dropped some news. I feel like he's took a vacation in the last 2 weeks. There's been no news. But Fu, how you doing, man?
Oh, I'm hanging in there, man. Just busy day trying to figure out all the insurance bullshit for the stolen car and all that. But a lot of topics to talk about. Like obviously nothing like huge or groundbreaking, but boxing news all the same. So ready to get after it.
Guys, I love how we're so excited for the show, guys. It's a great one. I can tell.
I'm excited. I just want the chat to get moving. The bands need to get rolling over there. Like, we need to get into these topics. The thumbs up. Yeah, all that good stuff.
Share the show, all that YouTube shit, all that fun stuff. But let's get into the Usyk news because, let's be honest, right?
I'm very Phil.
We all love Usyk here. I mean, I think as any fan of boxing, I think we all can, as a consensus agree that Usyk is a guy that is a throwback fighter in some ways, is a fantastic, skilled talent. But on top of that, he's obviously, I think, gunning for the top of the heavyweight division rather quickly, same like he did for the cruiserweight division. I think that is, quite in character of Oleksandr Usyk. And this news coming from, by way of Michael Benson, from a source he doesn't and it's called Video Boxing. I don't know how legit that is. Just want to put that out there. But this news does seem official because everyone else does seem to be reporting it after I've seen this tweet. Him saying Oleksandr Usyk's K2 promoter, Alex Krasuk, claims WBO president Paco Vassercel has guaranteed them that Usyk will be Anthony Joshua's next mandatory challenger. Krasuk expects interim bouts, but insists AJ vs. Usyk is inevitable. Now, I want to maybe pitch over to Rob first, since obviously he is the resident AJ manager. He's part of the team. I mean, he's in the family, guys. Let's be honest. So, Rob, since you're on Team AJ, obviously you're part of the Hearns clan in the lowlands of England, as I hear. What do you think is going to happen here with Usyk? Do you think there's going to be interim bouts, like they say in this tweet, before this Usyk fight, or is it going to be next after Big Baby Miller? What's your sort of read on it? What's your sort of prediction on it? Speculation, all that fun stuff.
I was under the impression that it was the IBF next in terms of
that's what I thought as well.
The order of the mandatories, but as far as Usyk taking it, I don't see why he wouldn't. He seems to be a guy that always wants to test himself. He seems to be in that. He's in that stable, with Loma. Moving fast. Obviously, he's completely gone through the cruiserweight division and cleaned up all the bouts, and he's stepping up straight away with what is Takam, like a top 15, top 20 guy, top 15 guy. Yeah, straight in there. I know some people are kind of not overly hyped about the fight, but I think it's a good fight. First up, see how you cope. Takam's a tough guy. Joshua didn't, I know it was a kind of a dubious stoppage at the end of I think the 11th round or something like that. So yeah, there's sort of a measuring stick for this. I know in between time, Takam has, Derek Chisora out of nowhere knocked him out. But yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. But I think Usyk's the type of guy to jump straight in at the deep end, really. After having his, dipping his toes in the heavyweight division sort of pool. I think see how he feels. I'm sure these are smart guys. I think they maybe do odd things, but I'm sure he would think about how it actually went and how he felt against a true heavyweight.
Wait, hold on, Rob. Was that your ringtone?
No.
Oh, okay. I was instantly very curious about what your ringtone was and what song it was. I was instantly very curious. But anyways, digressing. Back to
yeah. So I think he would, test the waters, see how he feels against a true heavyweight, and make a sort of informed decision from there, really. But if he felt he completely, was not under really any threat, and he felt he could take punches and this, that, and the other, I'm sure he would, Anthony Joshua next. Why not? Yeah, he would do it. But it's going to be the I guess the acid test to see against a true heavyweight. What will his punches do to a true heavyweight?
Absolutely.
It's been perceived that he's not, the hugest hitter, But I think he's had the stoppages when he's got guys, tired and mentally and physically worn down. But I guess he hasn't, gone in there and completely blitzed everybody in the ring. So it's not only how can he take heavyweight punches, but how do his affect other heavyweights? And I think this will be a true test because Takam, does like to come forward. Seems a tough guy, and I think he could take some punishment in the fight if he wants to bring it to Usyk, because we know Usyk can move. But again, that's another aspect of the fight that is going to be interesting. Can he, a heavier weight, can he still be what he is on his feet and
absolutely
things like that? So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see from the Takam fight. But for sure, I think he would take it if he felt good.
Fu, bring it over to you. Obviously, we have Kubrat Pulev in his situation right now with the IBF. I would assume, just being honest, from the looks of the landscape, that the legal issues that he is now dealing with really won't be that much of an issue for him career-wise. We have video of Shakur Stevenson hitting a woman, and he is literally fighting in a couple weeks. So it's not, let's be honest here, like Pulev is not in any danger to not fight ever again. He should be fine if he is the mandatory in the IBF if he wants to fight AJ. If you are Eddie, if you are in AJ's corner, in his ear, and you have the ability to pick the winner of Usyk Takam, let's all be honest here, I think we're all picking Usyk to win that fight, or a Kubrat Pulev, the IBF Mando, which mandatory do you take? Do you take the Usyk mandatory route, or do you take the Kubrat Pulev mandatory route if you are Team AJ and Team Matchroom in a sense? Fu.
Well, I think Pulev is... This is going to be so weird to say because we haven't seen Usyk as a heavyweight yet, but I believe Pulev's probably the easier fight. I'm assuming that the extra pounds aren't really going to be that much for Usyk. He's just, I think, on a different skill level than a lot of these guys when it comes to boxing. Just his footwork, his movement in the ring, his counter punching, his defense is going to be, it's still going to be there. So I think the tougher challenge for AJ is going to be a guy like Usyk over a guy like Pulev. Because if you maybe put it into like a Joseph Parker category, I don't know if that's like an astute kind of comparison or,
Comparing Parker to who?
To like a Usyk, because,
okay.
Parker's movement, Parker's, ability to make Joshua work in that fight was a little bit more than a guy like Pulev, right? Mm-hmm. So I think Usyk's going to be the same, like a lot of movement, really is going to be kind of forcing Joshua to chase him around the ring a bit. Joshua's going to have to cut off the ring. So I feel like that's a tougher fight. In my opinion, I think you would go the Pulev route first.
Rob, what's your thoughts on that? If you're in, AJ's ear and you have an option to pick the IBF Mando, which is Pulev, or the WO Mando, which is probably going to be Usyk if he beats Takam, which one do you think is the harder fight? And does that even matter? Is Usyk the bigger fight? Is Pulev the bigger fight? Sort of your thoughts on the options for AJ after the perceived big baby fight, which we all think he's going to win.
I think the Pulev fight is the easier fight. I think Usyk is the bigger fight. Obviously, we had him over here against Bellew on pay-per-view. I think it did around, I want to say 600,000 buys. No, maybe more, like 800,000 buys, something like that. I'm not sure, but it's in that ballpark. But so it's the bigger fight. If I'm Team Joshua, I'm pretty sure, on a business side of things, I'd say take the Pulev fight first. That's the easier fight. It's another big check. It's another mandatory dealt with, and it's on to the next. I'm sure you get a voluntary at some point, or after that, or try and make the Wilder fight again. But yeah, I think it's in that order. I think Pulev would come first. being easier. And like I say, I think that's the order. The IBF is like the next mandatory that's due. But yeah, and then Usyk being the more difficult fight, in my opinion. But I still think Joshua would win both. But I think Usyk would be the harder fight purely on his movement.
I think that in theory, you two are both correct that Usyk is the tougher fight. I think that we do need to see him at heavyweight. I think the Joe Joyce fight in the World Series of Boxing way back in 2015, 14, whenever that was, is not a proper indicator of how he's going to do in the current crop of the heavyweight division at the very top. Zulu in the chat, shout out to Zulu in the chat, great caller, saying that Usyk needs to prove himself at heavyweight and Takam is not the measuring stick. I will push back on that. I think Takam is a proper, quote, measuring stick. If you look at his fights with other comparable heavyweights, Chisora, Parker, AJ, etc., he is a proper barometer in a lot of ways. So I don't really back that, but I do agree that Usyk does need to prove himself at heavyweight first. I also am curious because potential lunatic brings up in the chat, and it's maybe not the greatest. It's not the greatest moral point of boxing, but Kubrat Pulev's scandal, the kissing situation with Jenny Rivalo or whatever her name was. Apologies if I forget her name. Has that sort of elevated Pulev's profile enough in the U.S. sporting market to where he is now on par money-wise with the Usyk fight? Thoughts on that, gentlemen, even though I know it's not the best topic or best angle of the topic to tackle just from a moral standpoint, but it is a reality.
Yeah, I think, like you say, it's maybe not the way you should go about it.
Or it's just not the best way to raise one's profile, but in the TMZ age of entertainment, it does raise someone's profile. It does.
Yeah, and I think we've got to remember Pulev is with ESPN, so whether there's with it being a mandatory, I'm sure Bob will be trying to force this to be a purse bid and that he can try and get Anthony Joshua on ESPN, which in the grand scheme of things might not be a terrible thing. It would be for the zone, obviously, but it wouldn't be a terrible because then we see Joshua fighting on another network, and it's clear that Joshua can go. It's not like he's exclusive to the zone like Canelo.
But to that point, a Usyk in-house fight would be easier to make, in theory.
Yeah. I'm just saying. If they call this call the Pulev mandatory, but I'm sure Bob would love to land Joshua. Of course. On the app or on ESPN.
On the app.
I'm sure it would be. I'm sure it would be probably another ESPN pay-per-view if Joshua was attached to it. But yeah, what was I going to say? Yeah, so it'd be good news in the fact that Joshua's able to go to another network and fight, and because obviously we're going to bring up Wilder being on Sky Sports, and whether that's a goodwill thing. And to me, it's an indication of some way that maybe Eddie and Sky Sports and this and people involved maybe realize that it's looking like the only way that the Joshua Wilder fight can get made is with it being on Showtime in America.
Wow. Before I dive into that rabbit hole with Rob and want to debate that, I do. Hold on. We're going to table that. Fu, I do want your thoughts on the whole Pulev profile being raised through the TMZ era of entertainment, just because it is the TMZ era of entertainment. Does that factor into it at all? Does that make the network differences easier, quote, to get past in a sense, because Pulev's profile is in a sense raised right now? He is the Mando, and I think Rob is correct when he said that the IBF Mando is the one that is up next. So your sort of thoughts on that, Fu?
Well, my thought overall is that I don't really see Usyk and Joshua fighting like instantly. I think they'll try to work some good heavyweight fights to build up the drama between Joshua and Usyk. So I think the Pulev take is really good because
what drama would be built up? Isn't it more of just a competitive, hey, this is the best cruiserweight in the world jumping up, daring to be great? Isn't it more of that angle more so than one that needs to be built up, this animosity, this rivalry, when that doesn't really exist?
Well, yeah, I'm not saying animosity. I'm saying that people are not going, there's going to be the obvious group of people that are going to say, well, Usyk hasn't earned this fight, doesn't deserve this fight yet, or hasn't proved himself at heavyweight, or Takem's not the barometer, Whereas like he gets a few more fights in and it happens next year, people are going to be like, oh, well, Usyk has made a couple of heavyweights look really bad. He's obviously still got all of his skills at this weight class. Maybe he even has a little more power at the weight. And then the fight becomes more beneficial for Joshua and Hearn versus just beneficial for Usyk. Because let's be real, I don't think a lot of people are going to give a lot of credit to Joshua if his next fight's Usyk and he wins. Whereas like Pulev's kind of like the bad guy right now. And let's be real, like Mayweather made a career out of being the bad guy, right? So I think
different way, but yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, but certainly like he's a guy that a lot of people are going to pay to watch someone beat him up. Like there's going to be a lot of fans that just want to see it. And conversely, there's going to be a lot of people that are going to watch because they want him to win because he's a not PC, weirdo white hope guy, so there's going to be that crowd in boxing that's going to be like, oh, I'm rooting for him because he is like everything I wish I could be, which I'm really hoping that there's not a lot of those people, but from what I saw on Twitter, there's a ton. So
I definitely see what you're saying. I see what both of you guys are saying. Let's go back to Rob and his point, and I'll be honest, it's due to the fever. I forgot what Rob said that piqued my interest. What was it, Rob? What did you say that
about the AJ Wilder? With Wilder being
that's right, yeah,
on Sky Sports, that is it kind of and that Eddie and Matchroom might be thinking that the only way to get this fight done is through Showtime.
Yes, obviously Deontay Wilder, Dominic Breazeale is on Sky Sports, not box office, right? It's not pay-per-view in the UK. No, I just want to make sure. I just wanted to clarify.
Idiot!
Just making sure.
What a loser!
That's a great one, Rob. I like that. That was good. But anyways, back to your conspiracy theory, or just not conspiracy theory. I think it's a good point. I agree with you. I think it seems more and more likely that AJ in those big fights are going to have to be potential on other networks. The only one that is different is the Pulev situation and the Fury situation on ESPN. Okay? I just don't think those guys have the leverage, and the network doesn't have the leverage. Top Rank doesn't have the leverage that DAZN, AJ, and Matchroom have. I don't think that. Wow, Showtime, Wilder, they have enough leverage, in my opinion. Maybe not the same leverage or equal leverage, but they definitely have enough leverage where I think you're right, Rob. I think that AJ is going to have to sort of cross the network aisle and make that fight with Showtime in some capacity, a la Tyson, Lennox, Lewis back in the day with Showtime and HBO working together. You're going to have to figure something out. I don't know if you were on the show when I was talking to Fu about this, but I was talking to Jose Ramirez's manager on Twitter about making Jose Ramirez versus Maurice Hooker, and how, in my theory, the best idea is to split the rights. You have the TV rights, like the live linear TV rights, and you have the live digital rights, and those are separate. Rick thought that was a great idea, said it was a little more complicated than that, obviously, but I think DAZN, Showtime are going to have to do something along those lines. And obviously when we do get an AJ Wilder negotiation again, I do think that at least for the live TV rights in the U.S., it's going to be Showtime pay-per-view. I think they're going to have to do that, and they're going to figure out and DAZN's going to figure out some way to equal out where they make the same income per view as Showtime is in the U.S. They're going to have to figure that out. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts or responses to what I said about my theories on that, or Fu, if you want to jump in thinking about AJ Wilder. Does it land on Showtime? Does it land on DAZN cross-platform? What are you thinking?
I think the cross-platform could happen like we're talking about in other sports, right? So, the NFL kind of decoupling linear and the NFL Sunday Ticket, right? So it looks like the digital rights are trying to be removed from the linear rights in other sports.
And big sports too, bigger sports.
And big sports, right? So I feel like boxing, it should be very easy to make things like that. Like if say Showtime gets it as a live broadcast, but they can't stream it to anyone, so you have to have linear Showtime to watch it there. Or if it's pay-per-view there, and then they could do like a pay-per-view, and then DAZN could just agree to also do some sort of pay-per-view where if you have like the yearly subscription, you pay less. There's a lot they could do to make that happen, and I still think make everyone happy. And let's be honest, like I feel like the landscape's going to have to change. The business has just changed completely. Like streaming apps have completely changed how fights are going to have to be made, because the money in the market is too crazy right now. And unless we're all just going to watch in-house fights that are really boring and really insignificant in terms of where the sport's going, they're going to have to figure out a way to make all of the parties happy. I don't know how that happens, but I think that a good start is if DAZN gets the digital rights and Showtime gets the linear rights, and then they figure out a way to make it make sense. But I think you're going to see a lot more of the stuff like what maybe is happening with Wilder, where he's on Sky. That's going to give him some visibility to Joshua's fan base in the UK on his next fight. You may see, some of these other fights go over, like a White going to Showtime when DAZN doesn't bid on it. But ultimately, I think it's going to it just increases visibility. And in the long term, there's going to have to be a way to make the big fights that we're not getting right now. And I think from listening to like Fistianados and some of these guys who know, because he was with HBO, worked on that side of the business, like from listening to him break it down and how it's going to have to work, they're going to have to really kind of, the Eddie Hearns, the Bob Arams, the Al Haymans, the Ludabellas, all those guys, Frank Warren, they're going to have to work together to navigate what is a completely new landscape for everyone,
I agree. I've been saying it for a while now that we're in a new paradigm of sports entertainment. And there's been several sports properties that have jumped to the new paradigm quicker than others, like the WWE, for example. When did they start the WWE Network? Remember when they went all their pay-per-views on that platform? That was, 5 years ago now? 6 years ago now? That was a while ago. They were far ahead of the curve than, Showtime, than ESPN, than these other far bigger companies. So these smaller boxing promoters, in terms of actual, contextualized size compared to these corporate entities, they're going to have to also have this long sort of slow curve to understanding the new paradigm and how to maneuver it, like you say. And plus, we're dealing with some people that are very much entrenched in the old way of doing things still. I think Bob Arum has done a decent job of at least saying he's trying. I doubt in practice how much that's really, been executed. Because I'm sorry, if you're plus 80 years old, technology and streaming just doesn't really compute for you, most likely. Like, I put it this way, I doubt we have any 80-year-olds listening to this show. Right, guys? Like, maybe a 60-year-old. Maybe.
Not at this time.
Maybe in the U.S. somewhere. That's definitely possible. It's a couple hours before it's nighttime for them.
Shout out to the senior citizens.
The elderly, yes, we love you. There's no ageism here, but I do think that there's a reason why like certain people like Eddie Hearn, for example, have, I think, jumped to the new paradigm of sports entertainment a little more willingly, a little bit more genuinely as well, because they're just younger. Like, this is a younger man's game now in a lot of ways, even though it always has been. I have no further points about Wilder, AJ, Showtime. I don't know if you guys have any other points. George Rodriguez saying, I'm 87. No, you're not, George. Stop lying.
Around the waist.
George, you typed that too fast.
We don't believe you. You need more people.
Come on, man. What are you doing? What are you doing here, George? If you are, man, what happened? But anyways, we have one last heavyweight piece of news to get to. It's official, guys. Let's get the sad music out. Tyson Fury versus Tom Schwartz. May the Schwartz be with you. It is official. Rob, you know that joke's hilarious. Stop it. Frank Warren saying venue's confirmed. MGM Grand, Las Vegas, June 15th to defend his lineal heavyweight title. Air quotes lineal. ESPN Plus. Guys, I mean, do we care? This is so bad. Like, this is...
Who gives a fuck? No.
This is like the... This is worse than...
OMG, I am so excited.
This is worse than the Safari Pinata fights, right? Like, in my opinion. Because at least when he had those fights, he was coming back from 100+ pound weight loss and years being gone. And, like, now he's coming off the Wilder fight. People thought he won. He's looking great. He's skinnier than Billy Joe Saunders right now. Like, I don't understand this at all. And plus, again, Las Vegas, Fury versus Schwartz. What a great location for that fight. This is just bad on every fucking level. I have no words to say other than...
Who the fuck is that guy?
Get out of here, Schwartz. I hope...
I really love that Warren and Ben and Fury are still on their talking points that Joshua has like fought no one and how he continues to duck all the hard fights. And Fury is just, oh, this fight's a fucking joke. It's just so bad.
It's a joke. It makes the sport look so bad. And the fact that ESPN, Frank Warren, Top Rank, and I would assume like even people like Max Kellerman on his show are going to bend over backwards to defend this garbage makes me sick to my fucking stomach. God. This is giving me a worse fever than the flu right now, honestly. Like this is complete bullshit, Rob. You know, I think as a fellow Brit, you guys need to riot or something in the streets. Grab your pitchforks, grab your mugs out of the pub, okay, and start marching, okay? This is a bigger deal than Brexit, okay? Honestly.
What do you think we're drinking in a pub in a mug? What do you mean a mug?
Oh, you can have a beer mug.
Oh, you mean like a pint glass with a handle?
Like the big ass, fucking like the thick glass, you know,
like a tankard.
Yes,
yes. A mug. Like fucking hot.
The word mug still works. Okay, fuck off, Dawson.
Yeah, I mean, look, no one has seen this fight announcement and gone, "Oh wow, yes, cannot wait." You know what I mean? It's just one of those. But
even Fury fans are just like gone. They don't even know. They logged out. They logged off from Twitter. Like, we're not gonna deal with this one today, guys.
To be fair, they tried at first, right? They tried hard. They were like, "Oh, he's number 5 in the WBO. He's undefeated," and then they just got smashed, and then they just disappeared. Like, wait, we'll come back later.
They put up a valiant fight for like a day, and then
it wasn't even a day. It was like 6 hours tops.
After some box wrecking, and people went, "Oh, he's number 5 in the WBO. Oh, look, Fury going down the WBO route. He's going to be mandatory to Joshua."
Get the fuck out of here.
No, but I've seen a ton of people saying, "Oh, this is going to be such a shit fight. It's going to go 12 rounds. Fury can't." I'm going to say Fury gets a stoppage in this fight, and it will be somewhat of a slight saving grace that you might see a Tyson Fury. I think you'll see a Tyson Fury knockout. But the thing is, he signed with ESPN. Remember, there are 300 million homes across America. Yeah, but this is on the app. There isn't 300 million subscribers. Well, yeah, homes or subscribers to that app. When it was billed as this profile building fight and stuff like that. So it's kind of an epic fail, but I think his only saving glimmer of light to come from this is that I think he'll get a stoppage, and it'll be something on some kind of highlight reel / resume kind of thing. But
is that what you think?
That's
exactly. It doesn't matter what you think.
But yeah, it's minuscule, but that's the only glimpse of light that's going to come from this fight.
Yeah, but didn't he get a finish against Pinata and Safari and whoever those guys were?
Safari quit on his stool, but he was Albania's number 2 cruiserweight.
Where does Schwartz rate in German heavyweights?
8th, I believe.
I don't know.
Awesome.
Probably 3rd behind his other brothers. Yeah, I'm not sure about it, but at least this is an actual heavyweight. The thing is, I think I saw the Gashi fight, Schwartz Gashi, and that was just like a bizarre. And Schwartz was a much bigger guy, and he was getting backed up a hell of a lot. But then Gashi decided to just headbutt him and everything. The ref called it off, and then Gashi went back across the ring, stood in front of him with the dukes up, saying, "Fuck it, let's carry on. Should we carry on?" And yeah, it all went a little crazy. But yeah, to see Schwartz kind of getting backed up by what looked like quite a smaller guy compared to him was a little concern. I think Fury being the bigger guy, and if he's my only fear as well, I guess, is that Fury doesn't quite get up for it, and we see a lackluster performance. But he's really got to, I think, get up for this, and the only thing he can do is try and really put this guy out of there and put on some kind of a display, even though that will be shit on because it's like, well, it was against this Schwartz guy. Who the fuck is that? But you want someone to do what they're supposed to do against when it's a fight like this. The guy is supposed to do, what the public expects. So I don't know. That's the only thing Fury can do in this situation.
Some hot takes in the chat. Is everyone ignoring the fact that Usyk was struggling with Bellew? I don't remember that fight.
Hold on. We need a hot take soundbite, guys.
Yeah,
I don't know what
he was losing the fight at the point of stoppage.
I don't know that he was losing the fight. He had lost a couple rounds.
He lost the first 4.
That's like when people say like Canelo was losing to Amir Khan.
I'm not backing that argument up. As in, I'm just saying that what kind of that hot take is kind of true at the point, but it doesn't matter when you get fucking knocked out. It doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like when people said like, "Oh, Amir Khan was beating Canelo," and it's like, yeah, cool. Yeah. Do we need to show you the picture of Amir Khan on his back, knocked the fuck out?
I think Amir Khan's going to be winning when Crawford knocks him out, but it doesn't matter because I still think Crawford knocks him out.
No, you don't. Samuel Vargas is winning rounds.
Yeah.
Crawford's going to win every second of that fight. Every second.
No.
But anyways.
First round KO.
Any other hot takes from the chat, or is that the only hot take from the chat?
Another hot take.
I bet Khan is winning that round until Crawford knocks him out in round 1.
I was going to jokingly say Khan knocks him out.
Rob, we should make some sort of harmless bet on this show. I don't know if it's like a pie bet or
I bet you Foo's beard. I'm right.
I don't know what that means. Like,
now we're trying to make hair bets?
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Your beard.
I'll put it this way: if you win, Rob, and Amir Khan has won most of the rounds on the judges' scorecards by the time of the knockout, Fu has to shave his beard. if I win, okay.
How the fuck?
Hold
am I
on,
gonna get
Fu.
thrown
You're
in
not
this?
allowed to talk right now, Fu. It's me and Rob talking, okay? If Terrence Crawford is winning most of the rounds up until the knockout, of course, by the judges' scorecards, Fu has to still shave his beard. So regardless, we win. Deal. Good deal.
The chat loses.
The only way Fu gets to keep his beard is if Khan knocks out Crawford.
Ooh,
and the
I
chat
like
loses.
that. I like that.
That beautiful beard.
I like that.
Another hot take was Smasher saying, if you're going to diss Fury's opponent, you better diss Miller. You can't believe that for real, Smasher. Come on. You got Gerald Washington, Marius Wack, Johan Duapis, Thomas Adamek.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Like, yeah, fucking Schwartz hasn't fought near that level of competition. And I mean, that level of competition's not great, but come on. Like, it's still better than anything on the other guy's resume. And he's ranked in the top 10 of all heavyweights.
Quickly, Gary saying, Rob, stop it. No one runs rounds against T-Bud. Stop it. You embarrassed yourself.
Yeah, well, Gary,
Jose
no one
Benavidez
thinks
did.
Dumb and Dumber is the #1 comedy of all time, but you, so.
That is true. And also, no one thinks
embarrassing
that Spaceballs is the best Mel Brooks comedy. It is obviously Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein. And then after that, Robin Hood Men in Tights. Come on.
Hello, Larry Merchant in the chat. Very polite, saying hello to.
Hello, Larry.
Us individually.
Nice to see you in the chat again. Anyways, 92. I also want to make. He made a good point. Maybe a hot take. I don't think it is. I think it's just an accurate take. Saying that AJ Miller is the best heavyweight fight right now, and that's pretty obvious. And it might end up being the best heavyweight fight of the year. Unfortunately, 100% might be. Depending if those top guys don't fight each other, it could end up being the best on paper heavyweight fight.
Yeah, I am coming round to the idea of Wilder Breazeale.
Well,
shush up.
Whoa, hold on. Fu, Wilder Breazeale is still like it was always going to happen, and Breazeale's still a top 15 heavyweight at the very least. Fu,
Robbie's just trying to sound fair and balanced right now.
But
this ain't Fox News.
But
this ain't Fox News.
But Fu, we never had issue with Wilder Breazeale. That was never the
pay-per-view.
Yeah, yes. Rob is absolutely right. If it was pay-per-view, we would have an issue, and it wasn't. On top of that, our issue was that he didn't sign the DAZN deal to make the AJ fight. The Breazeale fight was always going to be there. It was always a mandatory. He's still a top 15 opponent. We've seen worse Mandos recently, a la Spence Ocampo. So, no, I mean, I think Rob's absolutely right to have that very objective take. Shout out to Rob. Air horns for you here. And Fu, I'm ashamed of you right now. How
Rob's
dare you?
a fake UK flag waiver. You fake.
Wait, hold on. I like new conspiracy theories here, guys. Are you saying that Rob is secretly an AJ hater and actually a Deontay Wilder fanboy this entire time?
Such a Wilder stan.
Mind blown.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
But anyways, let's get back to the news, guys, if we can. Unless Rob has any other points about how Wilder's awesome.
No, I just want you to just brace yourself if Mr. DAZN is called in, okay? I'm just saying he might have changed his surname. He's now a Wilder stand and fuck DAZN.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Someone broke it.
Fucking broke him.
But,
do we have a breaking news soundbite? I don't know if we have a breaking news soundbite.
I think I will put Dave Allen versus Lucas Brown as the second best heavyweight fight.
It could be a slobber knocker.
I really couldn't say that with a straight face.
Oh my God,
he tried.
So bad.
I
Anyways,
tried.
Let's get to this Triple G news. Obviously, we were all hyped about Triple G fighting the elderly senior citizen Bryan Adams from Canada, the great rock star. Rob, really? That was definitely your cue.
Damn, no soundbite, Rob.
That was definitely your cue to play the Bryan Adams soundbite, Rob, and you let me down here.
Wait, what? Who? Bryan Adams.
Bryan Adams.
Who?
Bryan Adams.
Who? I totally was reading the chat and didn't even hear a word you were saying.
Oh, it's okay. That happens to me all the time, Rob. It's okay. But anyways, obviously, we were really pumped about Triple G versus Bryan Adams. It was a big fight, obviously. Bryan Adams is a major, well-known pop star in Canada. Well, rock star, I should say. Pop star? Rock star? Rob, verdict? Bryan Adams, pop star or rock star? What is he?
You
kind of skirt the line.
Is the star bit is the debatable part for me.
That I said Canadian, by the way. I added the Canadian part.
Oh, Canadian star. Oh, yeah, for sure. He's both. He's probably a rap star in Canada as well.
That's a really good point there, Rob. Anyways, Triple G is obviously that was really bad. Then we heard the Nadam news. I think everyone, or not everyone, most objective, reasonable people thought Nadam was a all right opponent. However, now we're hearing that he might fight a Steve Rolls instead, and I gotta say, collectively for everyone, that wasn't what I was gonna play.
Who the fuck is that guy?
That's what I was gonna play. But anyways, digressing. What's Triple G gonna do here? Is he gonna fight Nadam? Is he gonna fight Steve Rolls, who I could give two shits about? Also, by the way, he's planning to fight at 164 pounds at a catch weight for this tune-up. So that sort of, I think, puts into perspective how serious he is taking this training camp and opponent, making me think that he's definitely fighting this guy named Steve Rolls next. 100% happening. Rob, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, obviously I want the Ndam fight over Steve Rolls. I'll be honest.
Of course. Never
heard of him. Looked up his box rec. I don't want to look him up anymore. But if he fights Triple G, you know, we'll watch it, pay attention to it, and see what he's like, and expect a brutal knockout at some point in the fight. I'm joking. He might be a tough guy, but yeah, give me the Ndam fight over Steve Rolls. But purely, you know, I've not seen the guy. I can't really comment. I'm not going to come on and slam the guy for it. But yeah, if he was any great shakes, we would have known his name by now. But I don't know.
It is what it is. But your thoughts on Triple G? God knows what he's doing, but your thoughts on what he may or may not be doing?
I think it's very unfair that you guys are shitting on Steve Rolls. He's number 4 in Canada, and he's 19-0. Come on now. No, let's fight shit. Come on. We need the Ndam fight.
Gary adding Steve Rolls is a Canadian superstar. That is true. That is true.
Oh, yeah. I mean, come on. I really hope it's not Rolls, but I could definitely see it being him. Like you said, 164 pounds. You know, Triple G's been inactive since what? Like his last
September.
His last Canelo fight. Yeah, September. So, like, I don't know. You really can't hate on Triple G either, though. I mean, it's 2 Canelo fights. Well, I guess he had moderation in the middle of that, right? So
birthday, Matt, you're horrible.
I mean, come on. We can definitely hate on Steve Rolls. Nadam, no, we can't. I think that's, again, I've said that. Like, Nadam's a top 20 middleweight perennially. Like, he's always been that guy. I have no issue with that, especially as a tune-up fight. But Steve Rolls, Bryan Adams, fuck no. God, don't give me that.
Yeah,
that's not okay. It's not okay for Jamal Charlo. It's not okay for Triple G to take this level of competition. It's not. It's not okay.
But to be fair, Charlo wasn't coming off of basically back-to-back Canelo fights.
Of course not, but Charlo's also not a former unified champion.
That's true too.
Steve Rolls didn't win.
Is not terrible. Hey, another hot take from Gary. Steve Rolls is not terrible. Why all the hate?
He won the Canadian contender, I believe.
Shut up, Rob. Shut up. In context of Triple G and the top of the division, Gary, yeah, he's terrible. Sorry.
He's ranked 72 in the world, and
I thought you were going to say Canada.
And he has not had a single 12-round fight, I don't think, in his career.
It's not a good fight, guys. Like we don't have to lie. We don't have to make excuses for the boxer. We can give Triple G a tune-up. Nadam is a tune-up, guys. Nadam has no power. He can get dropped. He's going to give Triple G some issues just because of the footwork, but that's it. That is it. Okay? Let's have that be the level of tune-ups we expect from fighters. Not the Samuel Vargases of the world, not the Carlos Ocampos of the world, not fucking whoever Vajdik fought in his last fight. We don't want that, guys. Come on. We should always ask for more from our entertainers, because especially when they're putting on this level of dog shit. Because that's what this would be. And I'll be honest, if you're DAZN, there's no way you can be happy about this. If you're John Skipper and you have Triple G saying, I want to fight Steve Rolls, you got to be laughing in his face. It's like, we're going to pay you $15 million to fight Steve Rolls? Get the fuck out of here, Triple G. That's a good one. I hope that is happening. If it's not,
I mean, that's the things I want to know is what kind of stipulations do they have in these massive contracts to stop people from just fighting like Steve Rolls all the time? You know, it's like Triple G's is like, fuck it, I got mad dough. I'm just going to fight only, 70 and below ranked fighters.
Well, there's obviously some stipulations about fighting like certain ranked competitors, I would assume. Because we've been hearing for a long time from people like Keith Idek, my commentator, that these, quote, guaranteed deals that Canelo and people are getting aren't actually, quote, guarantees. That's been a mischaracterization through the media, but that is what happens. Last couple of topics, and we're going to go to callers, 323-870-4051. Press 1 to get in the queue. If you are international, add Mixed Combat Radio on Skype. Teofimo Lopez, shout out to Teofimo, man. You guys know I'm a big stan of Teofimo already. Who's already hating. But
get your weight up. Get your weight up, kid.
Teofimo's already called out his hit list. Not only through this Boxing Scene article, but also through that DAZN segment with Akram Barak. He said he's going to fight, obviously, Edis Tatali next on the April 20th card. I think that is the Terrence Crawford card. Maybe someone can correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Yeah, that's correct.
Next, he wants to fight Richard Commey in July, and then fight Lomachenko at the end of the year because he wants to move up to 140 in next year because he's getting too big for the weight class. I just gotta say, I am always impressed by guys that take that sort of route.
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Great job, Teofimo, calling out the big names. And let's be honest here. I know Rob is going to hate on me for saying this, but if the way the matchups are looking the rest of the year, Richard Commey versus Teofimo Lopez might be the best fight of the year. To me, it might have the most significance long-term of the year, of any fight. And it's one that I feel as a hardcore fan, it just, there's so many different angles to take on that fight that I think any hardcore fan will fall in love with it. So if we get Richard Commey versus Teofimo Lopez in July, I'm happy for the rest of the year. I don't need anything else. I think Wilder can go fight Wanaki. I think AJ can go fight whoever. Fury can fight Schwartz's cousin. I don't care. As long as we get Richard Commey, Teofimo Lopez. Because that fight would be absolutely fucking insane. But
How high is your fever?
It's very high. But Fu,
wait,
you telling me that you do not respect Teofimo having this hit list of the year?
No, I absolutely do. I'm just playing.
And also, do you think he's not 100% honest that he would take these fights this year?
No, this guy will fight anyone. Like, I mean, he's a special kid. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. Don't roll up on me, Tio. Don't roll up on me. I'm just saying get your weight up because I'm protecting my man Loma, okay?
That's facts.
But
yeah, at least at the end of the year, we can look forward to the original plan, which was Lomachenko versus Commey.
Yeah, exactly, Rob.
You're saying,
low-key hate right there. Boom.
You're saying that Commey is going to beat Lopez there. I like it. I like that. That was good.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't think Commey could beat Lopez.
We could end up with Crawler.
No, let's not troll that much. Okay, let's not go that far.
Dude, people will have, if Lopez really does this like if he beats Commey, everyone's gonna be like, he's gonna be a top pound for pound. You watch. ESPN's gonna have him up there.
He will be the betting favorite
word.
against Lomachenko. If he beats Commey in any sort of convincing fashion, it can't be like controversial decision. If he beats him convincingly, and he fights Loma next, he is the betting favorite.
Oh man, it's so funny.
We have fucking Artem Lobov being a betting favorite against Paulie Malignaggi in a bare knuckle fight, guys. I am telling you, Teofimo, if he goes out there and beats Richard fucking Commey, a top 3 lightweight in the world, yeah, he is fast tracked to pound for pound list, fighter of the year talks, everything. And let's be honest, Fu, he might deserve it. And I'll be honest. On top of that, I'm picking Lopez. If he beats Commey and he's fighting Lomachenko next, Lopez just might be that guy. He might be that gem that Bob Arum Top Rank found that could be a transcendental star if he comes out here and beats Richard Commey and Vasyl Lomachenko in the same year.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'm not at all disputing that. I think that Commey Lopez is a great fight.
Commey should be the favorite.
I think that I kind of feel like, and not to say that Lopez is on Crawford's level, but I think Commey isn't as good a boxer as Lopez. I know that's like shitty to say. Is better competition. What I mean is like his punches aren't as like accurate. His
technique isn't the same as Lopez.
Exactly.
Absolutely right.
Yeah. So I think it could look a lot like Ndongo and Crawford, where
Commey,
a good counter punch ends it, right?
Commey is legit tested. That's the difference. Ndongo was slightly tested. He was tested against a very aged, old Ricky Burns. And no disrespect to Ricky Burns, because I've always shown Ricky Burns a lot of due credit on this show. He's one of the best Scottish boxers of all time. He deserves credit. But he was an aged veteran at the time when Ndongo fought him. While Commey fought a prime Robert Easter, and some people think he beat Easter. He fought Denis Shafikov, and he fought him in Russia. And I'll be honest, most people thought Commey beat Denis Shafikov, who is still a perennial top 10 lightweight or super featherweight. Commey is battle-tested. Ndongo really wasn't, especially at the very top. Commey is. That is the difference. I think Lopez is the better boxer, but Commey, he's that brutal bruiser. He's the guy that's going to be in your face all 12 rounds, landing combinations, landing powerful shots, going to the body, and he has the unlimited cardio tank. On top of that, great power. That's a very tough fight, but I think it's one that I cannot wait to see if it does happen. Do we think Bob Arum does this, though? Do we think Bob Arum fast-tracks Lopez? Do you think he takes the risk with Lopez when he has taken that risk with Shakur, Michael Conlan, Michaela Mayer, other prospects in his stable? That's the open question for either of you.
I think he needs to. Then
why?
ESPN will have a legitimate star in their stable.
Are you saying that because they lack a legitimate star in their stable? Like
a legitimate like American, if you know what I mean.
Poor Crawford.
Wow. Just totally glossing over Crawford there.
Damn.
But
is he? They're not even promoting his pay-per-view fight right now.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a brief second. The fight's in 2 weeks, and I have seen.
That's always been Bob's stance, though.
No, come on.
Bob has always said there's no reason to do a big press tour. There's no reason to do this. You just wait a couple weeks before the fight, and then you promote the hell out of it. That's what he's always said.
Well, we're now in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest here, Fu. While we might see a little more commercials on ESPN, that's about it. Let's be honest here. Top Rank, promotionally speaking, has completely failed Crawford yet again. They have.
Yeah.
There's no way you can argue that they have done him right by this fight, by the promotion of it. And when we compare it to his last pay-per-view fight, it is very clear that Top Rank does not put their best foot forward. And you can even argue ESPN doesn't put their best foot forward with Terrence Crawford in terms of promotion. Look at what Fox did with Mikey and Earl. That is the new barometer. I will give the PBC fanboys on Twitter their due credit for that talking point because it's true. What we saw, the amount of marketing that and push that fight had for two guys that were never on pay-per-view before, that's the new benchmark. And we see the rewards that it reaped because of that. We look at the buy rate. It was highly successful. It was bigger than Wilder Fury, which I think we can all probably safely say was a bigger fight on paper. So, I don't want if anyone's gonna be on this panel defending Top Rank here, you better come with a very good argument because they have failed Crawford numerous times, and this is another time they failed him.
That sounds like a threat. No, I'm just
come at me, bro.
Real quick. The point about Lopez, what you ask about is I think they don't have a choice but to fast track Lopez.
Agreed.
Because I think he's very much bad fights. He's just going to be a shitty person to deal with.
You slightly broke up there.
I was just saying, like, he's like Loma in the sense that he wants the toughest fights. He wants to fight for belts. He doesn't want to be held back because of marination or letting him grow. He just wants to be in there with the top guys. And if he's not, he'll be a shitty person to deal with. Like, he is not a person who's not going to speak up. He will 100% come at them with everything he's got if they try to put him in with shit fights. Like, he doesn't play around.
Absolutely agree. He's definitely one of those guys that he's a company man when you're treating him right. And if you're not treating him right, he is not a company man. I definitely agree with that sentiment. Rob, any last points on Teofimo, Commey, Loma? Have you made any points? I'm sorry if you haven't. And Fu has been talking this whole time.
Matthew D'Souza in the chat. UK Rob unveils his LDBC motives with the hate for Crawford.
I saw that. That was funny. That was good.
Yeah.
Like we've said, we've already uncovered that, Rob. You're a secret Wilder stan. You hate AJ deep down inside. We know this now.
Yep.
It's facts. It's facts.
UK card pulled.
Talk about the Wilder family if you want.
Oh man.
Oh,
poor Marcellus. R.I.P. Except for he's healthy, guys. Maybe too healthy.
Maybe too healthy.
Shout out to PEDs. But anyways, any points on Teofimo?
Allegedly.
Yeah, sure, alleged. Any thoughts on Teofimo? Loma, Commey, the hit list. Any last thoughts?
Moving too fast, but I think this might be where the hype train could be derailed. I think
it could be.
Commey might just be a little bit too much for Teofimo at this stage, but you can't. It's you do or you don't, and whatever happens. But it's a risk. For me, it's a risk with a kid that is showing huge promise.
Absolutely agree.
It's something they maybe have to do because of Lopez's stance on how he wants his career to go. So I think he promised that he'd be a champion, within the year, being 21 or something. So he's 21 now, so he needs to get one before he turns 22. I know fighters say a bunch of shit, but he seems someone who seems to, he talks a lot of shit, he backs it up. But he might have bitten off a little bit more than he can chew with that one, in my opinion. But always enjoy watching him fight, so that'd be a great fight to watch. But I think we'll potentially see Lomachenko Commey maybe by the end of the year for unification, as was planned in the beginning. So,
there's part of me that doesn't think it happens, because if you're Top Rank, you're sort of sacrificing two contenders for Lomachenko with a Commey Lopez fight. You could easily, let's say, make a Jose Pedraza, a Ray Beltran Lopez fight, after this Tatali fight. You have the Commey injury where he's coming back and he should be good for this summer. I think Loma is going to be fairly fine after Corolla, let's be honest. I think if you're top rank, the best thing would be to make the Commey fight for Loma instead of Lopez, and you get a Lopez Ray Beltran or Lopez Jose Pedraza contender fight, and that's still a good step-up fight. Still, I think, would satisfy Lopez, and you don't sacrifice two contenders in a single matchup. Because, let's be honest, you need good main events for Lomachenko. You need good title defenses for Lomachenko. And if mandatories and top 10, top 15 names like Anthony Corolla get a lot of criticism, then you're going to need Commey and Lopez this year for Loma, or at least for maybe the next 12 months for Loma. Any last thoughts on this, guys, until we're going to move on? No.
I was going to say there is a way that it could happen where potentially where an undisputed lightweight could come out of this, because you've got what Loma said that he really wanted to fight for the vacant WBC. I hope that doesn't happen. I don't want him to get that belt that way, but it looks like he was saying he would fight Campbell for the vacant belt. And then if Commey Lopez fight, and then the winner of that fights the winner, if let's say Loma wins against Corolla, which he should, goes and fights Campbell for the vacant, and then fights the winner of Commey Lopez at the end of the year. It's a tough schedule and quick turnarounds, but I mean, it could happen. Or especially if Lopez wants to be out by the end of the year into 140.
Or you could still be top rank and say, well, hey, we have Loma Campbell after Corolla, then we have Loma Commey, and then Loma Lopez at a catchweight. Fuck it. I think if you're Bob Arum, you're more thinking that way. You're prolonging that Lopez fight in some capacity. On top of that, you just need more fights for Lomachenko. You don't. We talked about this before. Top Rank does not have the deepest stable. They have really good pieces in certain divisions, but they don't have deep stables in certain divisions like DAZN has with middleweight or bantam or super bantamweight, or PBC does with welterweight. So you're going to have to be creative in how you get around that. And if you're Bob Arum, how you do that is the path that I just said. You have Campbell, where you have Corolla, Campbell, Commey, and Lopez. That's 4 fights for Loma next. That's another 2 years of Loma fights that are all quality. And again, you have Pedraza, you have Beltran, you have certain names that could satisfy a guy like Teofimo for long enough to prolong Lomachenko's career in a sense, because we all know Lopez is going to take that scalp. Let's be honest.
Well,
I want smoke.
Here's another thing.
That's at you, that gauntlet's at you, Fu.
Well, this is for both of you guys. Did you read that Lopez was bringing up Tank Davis a lot?
Yes, I did see that.
So he seems to really want a Tank Davis fight, which I'm guessing he'd want at 135, because I don't see him going lower than that, as he's saying he wants to move up to 140. So I wonder if that's a fight they're interested in making. I don't, that's a good fight.
He could make the Tank Davis catchweight.
Yeah.
I think he just wants a big fight, and Tank Davis is a big name. I'll be honest. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. We could do the usual couple of pounds over whatever Tank needs to weigh.
Yeah, well, what I wonder is, let's say that it falls in a way that it's like Corolla, and then we go Commey, and then they really do make maybe the Lopez Luke Campbell fight for the WBC. And if he were to come out the winner of that WBC like vacant title, would that be a time that maybe Gervonta Davis would take a really tough fight and go up to 135 to win a WBC belt? Would Mayweather even allow that? I don't know.
No.
They haven't seemed to want to put him in tough fights like that recently. So
who knows, man? Gervonta, who knows? Last topic of the day, then we're going to go to callers. Manny Pacquiao is signing some sort of deal with Ryzen FF, which is obviously a MMA style promotion in Japan. This is obviously the same promotion that Floyd Mayweather fought his sparring bout with Tenshin Nasukawa last year in December. We still don't know really what this is yet, and I'll be honest, I don't care. Like, maybe it's the fever talking now, guys, but I don't have the energy for this bullshit. I really don't. Like, that's the same thing with, like, the Lobov polymonology topic. That's why I took it off the topic list. Like, I just don't have the time for it. I don't care. This is, like, whatever Manny Pacquiao's going to do, it's either very surface level, ambassador style branding and promoting, or he's doing some sort of bullshit sparring match. And either way, I don't care. Other than it's probably good for Asian combat sports to have this sort of cross promoting in a way, but other than that, could give two shits.
Or play the soundbite, the conspiracy soundbite. Or like boxing Twitter thinks this is a pathway to the Mayweather rematch. Like, people are so fucking crazy. I love it.
Yeah, that rise in FF is the pathway to fucking Mayweather. Yes, great. Boxing Twitter is on it again, guys. You guys, any thoughts on this? Any thoughts on Manny Pacquiao? What's next for him? He seemed, obviously the Spence fight happened, and he was like, yeah, I'll take the fight, kind of, maybe. And he has walked that back ever since. Now he's signing to an MMA promotion in some capacity. Your thoughts on what the fuck Manny Pacquiao is doing?
Nick Manette.
Cool. I like the in-depth take there.
What was that?
I don't care. I'm not.
Fuck that shit. Fuck boxing. Fuck boxing.
I agree. Thank you, the God Charles Martin, with the wisdom. The wisdom of Solomon right there.
Yeah.
Fu?
I mean, I don't know that there's much to be talked about on this. Like you said, we don't really know anything. And what, are they just going to serve up Tenshin Nasukawa to like every single
major boxing star?
Fucking major boxing star? Like, is this a PBC thing, or is this, what in the fuck's happening here? Like, I'm so over this Ryzen shit.
I don't care. I just don't care anymore. Okay, let's go to callers, because we all, I think, can collectively agree that we give two shits about what Manny Pacquiao is doing right now if it's not boxing a elite competitor. Let's go to 816. I think this is either Zulu or Mr. DAZN. And then 901 is either Mr. DAZN or Zulu. I always get these numbers reversed, and I'm also highly sick, so I apologize. But I think 816 is Zulu. 816.
Yep, it's Zulu, man.
Yes.
What's going on MCR?
How you doing,
How
man?
y'all doing today?
I'm doing good, man.
Right. Hey, man, you sound like you got a little fever, man. You all right, man?
I am sick. I got a cold / flu. I haven't gone to the doctors, but I definitely have something thanks to my kid who was sick last week.
Well, I hope. Yeah, I know what you mean. I hope you get better, brother. But
Thank
look,
you.
a couple of topics, man, that you guys addressed. I just want to go ahead and brush over once again. That AJ Usyk situation, man. I mean, way too soon for Usyk to be even thinking that way. AJ would murder him. I don't think. I know Usyk is a talent, but still, like I said in the chat, he needs to be proven at heavyweight. I don't think that Takam is the measuring stick. Takam is starting to get known as just a little speed bump, nothing else to me. Not a real serious threat, but I can understand him throwing him in there with Takam just to get him, accustomed to the temperature of the heavyweight division.
Mm-hmm.
As for the Fury Schwartz situation, man, listen, I applaud you guys for being pissed off about this fight, the Fury Schwartz fight, and have enough courage to say it, because it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that Fury would even drop this low after having the fight that he just had, and not really, to me, wanting to entertain that rematch for whatever the reason may be. It's a garbage fight, man. I agree with you guys once again, and I applaud you for having the heart to say it. Amir Khan and Crawford. Now, Matt, I heard you say that you think Crawford's going to win every single round. I disagree with that. And here's why I say that. Amir Khan himself has the reasons he was knocked out. He kind of wears his heart on his sleeve at times. He can get in there and bang a little bit. Now, if he does that, that will probably lead him to get knocked out. But listening to him lately, I think he's a little mentally defeated from those couple of knockouts he's had. He's going to be a little bit careful in there with Crawford, and I think he's going to. It depends if he tries to engage too much, then I see him getting knocked out because Crawford's one of those guys. The more you give it to him, the more he's going to give it back to you. He's not going to just let you give it to him and then take some time off. He want to give it right back to you. So it depends on, to me, how Amir Khan fights that, but he definitely wins some rounds. It's not going. I don't see it being a total blowout. Amir Khan is a talent. He's been knocked out, but
he is. Yeah, you're right.
His chin may not be the greatest. Now he's not in there with a bum. I think this is going to be his toughest fight at the heavyweight. I mean, I'm not heavyweight, but at the welterweight division, at that weight class, because the rest of the fighters he had, none of them really had the challenge that Amir Khan really has, man. Amir Khan is of course, I think he's a little mentally damaged from his knockouts, and I'm curious about his mental toughness going into this fight. But outside of that, I do think he has a chance, man. And Teofimo Lopez versus Loma, Matt, you gotta be sick.
Yo, Lopez is the truth, man. Lopez is the truth.
Matt
man.
Is a Lopez stan, bro.
Hey, I fully admit I am on the hype train, guys. I fully admit that.
You own that train.
I own it, okay? I'm leading that motherfucker.
Matt's like that kid at like Universal Studios or Six Flags that rides like the same roller coaster like 8 million times. Like, he's on that Loma hype. That's that Lopez
Matt,
hype train.
I'm gonna tell you, because look, Matt, a while ago, I used to be skeptical about Lomachenko. Lomachenko has earned my respect 110%. Even though you can talk about his loss or whatever, this is one of the best, most calculating fighters that I've seen, and he's always thinking. He's thinking every round. He's thinking. When you think you got him, he's like a chess player. That he's 3 steps ahead of that. He already see it coming probably 3 rounds before he does it, in my opinion. I don't think Teofimo thinks that way. He's definitely a talent, but I don't think he can outthink Loma in a fight like that. His chance would be a puncher's chance at best with that. But just to overview a little bit of the topics you guys discussed, I want to know the whole panel's Brother Fu, good to hear from you as well. Matt, I know you back there, Matt. I want to give a shout-out to Matt's favorite fighter, Deontay Wilder. Shout-out to you, Matt, on that, and Deontay Wilder.
It really is his favorite fighter. You should see our little group chat. As soon as Wilder comes up, Matt automatically goes defensive.
That's Rob's favorite fighter.
It is Rob's favorite fighter. I mean,
that's what I meant to say, Rob. But with that, gentlemen, what's your guys' opinions on pretty much what I just threw out there to you?
What was the statement other than saying what up to us?
No, I'm just saying about.
Oh, you mean your overall call?
Yeah, the overall call. Just to get the opinions about pretty much what I said. My opinions, like I said. I did want to applaud you guys about making a stand on the Fury Schwartz fight. I don't think that's a good fight for Fury at all. It's not a good look at all for him. Even if he goes in there and knocks this guy out, which possibly won't even happen. He may go to the distance. I don't give him. You got to give him credit for a win, but it's a lackluster thing. You know, we want to see him in a little bit more of an exciting fight if it's not Wilder. Right, and of course, you know, with Usyk, it's too soon for AJ. I believe it is. I think you guys already touched on that. I don't know everybody's opinion about that, but it's definitely too soon to just throw him in there with AJ. Man, AJ is the number 2 heavyweight in the world. He is the number 2 best, in my opinion. You know, but it's no other fighters out there that really is on his level besides Wilder, in my opinion. And the best fight is between those two to settle it all. Regardless how I think or how anyone else thinks, those two have to fight to settle everything. Well, one question I want to throw out there. I don't think you guys have talked about this. Why are we not pressing Ortiz and Dillian White fight? That would clear up a lot of things as well. Neither one of them have a fight right now.
Well, Zulu, I think that is the path, right? I think I think it's either going to be Povetkin or White. Povetkin White or Ortiz and White will be like White's next fight, from what Hearn's saying. I think.
Right. But now, wouldn't it make more sense for it to be Ortiz? The reason I'm saying that because, you know, in pretty much everybody's top 5, you got it's between Ortiz, the number 5 or the one at the back end is either between Ortiz, White, and Big Baby. Well, Big Baby's in a fight where he's gonna have to sink or swim. Yeah, and I don't think Big Baby wins. I don't think he wins this fight, but against AJ. But now, so the question is, that spot that Big Baby that people say he's at, I believe Ortiz is in front of that, in my opinion. So to me, between Ortiz, White, and Big Baby's tied up right now. Big Baby's doing right where he should be to prove himself. Now, White's next opponent to me, why instead of Ortiz? You know what I'm saying?
No, I agree. I agree. I agree. Thank you for the call, Zulu. Always a great call. I quickly to your point about talking before I forget about that, or at least I should say Usyk being too soon for AJ. It all depends how he looks against Taco. If he comes out here and blows Taco out the water, better than Parker, better than Chisora, better than AJ, then I don't think it's too soon. I don't think that's realistic anymore. I think he's ready for that level. It may be the fight. It may not be a fight that we necessarily want at that moment. That might be true. There may be other fights we want at that moment, a la AJ Wilder. But is Usyk ready? It depends on the Takum fight and how he looks, obviously. Now to the question you asked at the very end right there, and somebody in the panel, please remind me what the question was, because god damn this fucking fever.
So I'll run through my thoughts on the call. He basically was saying, and Zulu, I largely agree. Lopez not ready for a Loma fight. Like I said, you know, he just thought Loma would be way too much for Lopez. I largely agree with that point. I think Lopez has a lot of power, but I don't know. Like, man, Loma's not he's on like a completely different planet when it comes to his ability in the ring. And we've seen that multiple times, and Lopez is a fairly young guy. So either way, I think if he gets the fight, good, but I wouldn't pick him to win it. And then he mentioned, you know, thanking us for having some integrity and calling Fury out for this next fight. And I appreciate that, as I'm sure you guys do, because we try to keep it 100% on here. We try to, even when it's a boxer we really like, if they're fucking up, we try to call them out on it. And then the point about Takum and Usyk, I think he's right. I don't really see them doing the Joshua fight this quick. So I really think the call overall made a lot of sense. Was stuff that we've all kind of agreed on, you know.
And also the Ortiz White fight also makes obvious sense. Like that.
Yes.
Like that's duh. Like that's such a duh fight. Like it makes complete sense for the division rankings right now. The availability of the fighters, it lines up perfectly. And plus, it's just also a great heavyweight fight that I would like to see. I think most people would like to see. Rob, any thoughts on the call, or his final question? Are we ready to go to another call?
He also kind of backed up what I said, that Khan isn't as bad as people think, and he's gonna get
yeah, Mitty's happy somewhere.
Take some rounds against Crawford. So no, yeah, good call. Always Mr. Zulu, he always does a good call. He's always on point. Very, never really disagree with what he says. It's all opinions. Just because I've got mine maybe doesn't mean it's right.
That's true, and it usually isn't.
Yeah, all right.
Hey, let's go to Gary, who always has even worse opinions than you, Rob. Hashtag thinking that Spaceballs is the better Mel Brooks movie than fucking Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein. God damn. Gary, what's up?
It is better than Young Frankenstein.
It's
is
not.
It better than Blazing Saddles? That's debatable.
It's not debatable.
Spaceballs is hysterical. Why are you hitting on Spaceballs?
I'm not hating on Spaceballs. It's a great comedy, but it's clearly not the best Mel Brooks comedy.
Here we go with it's great but overrated.
It's not that it's overrated. It's accurately rated. Gary overrates it. The rest of the world does not rate Spaceballs over Blazing Saddles, Robin Hood Men in Tights, and Young Frankenstein. I am sorry, Gary. That just does not exist.
It's definitely funnier than Young Frankenstein. The other two.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's like Fury, Wilder, and Joshua. You can have those three in any order you want. But Young Frankenstein is definitely fourth. That's the Louis Ortiz of.
Oh, wait.
No.
Wait. Stop. Just so people know in the chat, this is a spillover from our Patreon show on was it yesterday or the day before?
One of those days.
So you go check that out.
Patreon.com/MixCameraRadio. Link is below in the description.
Gary called in just like today,
God.
but obviously it was the weekend. He'd had some drinks.
Spouting off some nonsense.
Crazy shit. Said Dumb and Dumber's the greatest comedy of all time. All kinds of shit like that. So if you want to pay to listen to stuff like that, you know where to find it.
the selling there of our Patreon is great there, Rob. Thank you for that. Gary, back to your phone call, and you misrating things constantly, like fighters and boxers, and now movies.
And yeah, a couple of things. First off, that fever, that bug, what have you got? Cut out all the sugar. Don't eat any sugar. No barbecue sauce, no sugar in your coffee. Cut out all the sugar. Viruses live in sugar. You got to cut it out. If you cut out the sugar, it'll be gone in 48 hours. Promise.
You can tell Gary goes to the dentist.
You can tell Gary goes. Sugar's great, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
What was that?
Sugar's amazing when you're sick, though, so that's kind of bullshit.
No, Gary is right, to be fair.
Then you said that Benavidez, this is the second time you said this. You said this once before, that Benavidez won rounds, plural, against Bud. He won one, the fourth. And I posted the scorecards in the chat. He won 1 round against Crawford. And let me ask you this. Benavidez versus Khan, who wins?
Benavidez.
Okay, so Benavidez is better than Khan, and Benavidez won 1 round against Bud. So how is Khan going to win more than 1 round?
Yeah, but Gary, that's not
an equation.
It's never it never works like that. You can't say that like Loma went 12 with Pedraza, Tank knocked Pedraza out in 6 rounds or something, and then that means Tank beats Loma. That's just it doesn't work like that. It's a different fight.
But Tank does beat Loma.
No, he doesn't. You're crazy. Now, in the equation, Benavidez beats Khan and Crawford beats Khan. Yes, but like Khan's a different fight than Benavidez.
But there's levels.
When you say
Khan is at Benavidez's level anymore, I don't even think Benavidez versus Khan really is that competitive of a fight, honestly. Like, I think he loses a bunch of rounds and then gets knocked out by Benavidez. I just, like, if you think this is Khan circa 2010, it's not. He's not good anymore. He struggled with Samuel Vargas. Like, okay.
He got knocked down. He didn't struggle.
Yeah, because getting knocked down is obviously meaning that you don't struggle with the opponent.
Didn't he get up and win every round after that?
Arguably.
Arguably what?
He arguably won rounds after that. I don't know. It was a shit fight, man. Who cares?
Crawford's not beating Khan. Khan may win some spots. I don't know. Crawford's going to dominate the fight. I mean, everyone knows that.
The fact that we're only debating whether Khan will win some rounds or not before he gets knocked out by Crawford shows how shit the fight is. We're never arguing, oh yeah, this is how Khan's going to win. No one's saying that.
But did you guys see him do the speed bag on a water bottle?
Quickly.
Okay, that's all that matters.
Quickly, I got to address this from the chat because Foo's wilding. Because I think you actually are genuine when you say this, unlike me saying Davis beats Loma. Ramen Big R in the chat saying Robert Easter versus Francis Bartholomew, which was announced, I believe, maybe a couple weeks ago. Really good fight. I like the fight. who wins. Fu saying Rances Bartholomew. Really? Really? Man, get the fuck out of here.
That's fucking illegal.
Come on,
Your
man.
man Easter's been straight trash.
Stop,
Your man
man.
Easter's been straight trash for multiple fights.
Who has Rances beat? Who has Rances beat?
That doesn't matter to me.
When this got set up, you were like, "Oh, damn, tough fight for Easter coming back."
It is a tough fight for Easter, but Easter's still winning.
Say, what? Bartholomew wins? Are you fucking crazy?
Yeah.
So what, is it a tough fight or not?
It can be a tough fight, but we can still have a clear consensus about who wins.
Oh, it's a great fight, but it was overrated.
A great, yes, a great fight for coming off a loss. Yes. Yes, absolutely. Compared to the Tom Schwartz of the world, yeah, Rances Bartholomew is a great opponent coming off a loss.
Yeah, well, Easter's been trash too, so.
Fuck off, you dosser.
You're just an Easter stan. I can't help it that a guy that you love is not that great.
He may not be that great, but come on, Rances, you really picking Rances Bartholomew to beat Robert Easter? That is crazy.
I mean,
you better
see how it
hold
goes.
on. You better stick to that prediction, motherfucker. I'm just hoping you do.
It's in writing right there.
Yeah, it is in writing. I know.
Matt, just hold still for 1 sec. I'm trying to take a screenshot of the YouTube feed. I'm just trying to see if that says Robert Easter on the cap. If that's your Robert Easter hat that you found.
Oh, it's not. It's not a Robert Easter cap. But thank you.
Well, let me agree with both of you guys, right?
Okay.
So Matt is right. You can have a great fight where everyone has a consensus on the winner, right? And like Jacobs versus Canelo is a great fight. I think everyone picks Canelo, but that doesn't mean it's not a great fight. So this could be a great fight, and everyone picked Easter, except that I'm with Bugatti, and I take Bartholomew too.
Boom!
But I could be wrong.
Suck it.
No, Fu, he's just totally blown your idea out of the water.
The weed. That's stupid. Use your common sense.
I hope you guys keep those predictions and don't flip flop. That's all I'm hoping for. This would be like when you pick Terry Flanagan. This would be like when you pick Terry fucking Flanagan over Regis Prograis, man. Oh my God.
I did not.
I didn't say you. I'm talking to Gary.
Oh, okay.
Okay. We all have our bad ones. That's a good point. Good rebuttal.
But I picked Ugas to beat.
He didn't
Porter,
though.
He played that same Mark Ellie clip.
He didn't.
Oh, but he should have.
But he didn't. He didn't. Who
Ugas,
won? Sean Porter.
Ugas to beat.
God, Matt's in the pocket of the mafias.
Facts.
But I wanted to get to this Teofimo Lopez thing.
Sure.
Teofimo Lopez is going to be ringside at the Loma fight.
Ooh.
You guys don't think this is way too soon and way too early to start talking up Teofimo Lopez? I mean, he's literally beaten nobody. He beat Diego Magdaleno, who Terry Flanagan knocked out in 2 rounds.
Mason
Like-
Yeah, but he does cool.
Gary.
He does cool Fortnite dances, and he's like athletic.
He does.
I mean, come on,
Gary.
He'll obviously beat Loma. Yeah.
Gary, I will say this. Obviously, he is not, quote, ready for the top. He has not beaten the right level of competition to get to the top, in my opinion. I think we can all agree on that. Even guys like Earl Spence fought better competition as he worked his way towards a title shot. He fought former champions like Chris Algieri, for example. He had better competition to that point. And he was, quote, a phenom, right? Remember, people were high on Spence from a very early point, similar to Teofimo Lopez. So it's obvious that he is being fast-tracked. Is it too soon? Yes. Will that matter? Maybe not. That's the fun part about this, is that Teofimo is exciting enough and he looks the part enough to where there is a possibility that he could beat Commey. It might be a 20%, 10% chance. It might be a very small chance. But there still is that chance that he could make that huge jump and leap in competition, unlike other people, and be successful because he looks the part, he passes the eye test. And look, honestly, that's the best part about following combat sports, in my opinion, is watching guys like Teofimo, quote, prodigies, phenoms, take those big leaps and see if they succeed or fail. That to me is always the best matchups in the sport. Those are always the most exciting ones for me personally. So, yes, is it too soon? Absolutely. But do I care? Nope.
Hey, Gary. Like maybe I don't know. Do you watch much like UFC or MMA?
I don't watch any MMA.
Oh man, I was gonna
don't
say
watch
like
any
if you've
MMA at
seen
all.
Johnny Walker, like Matt and I were talking about them being very similar, but
Gary knows
doesn't.
Johnny Walker.
Yeah.
I see what you did there.
Oh.
Anyways,
Damn.
Gary, back to you.
Okay, so Teofimo Lopez, could he beat Commey? Maybe. You know, Comey's flawed too. Comey's easily hit, right? I like Commey, but Commey is a very flawed fighter too. Could he beat Lomachenko? Absolutely not. That's ridiculous. Like that's like
I don't know about that.
and it's terrible. It's terrible because Loma makes people quit, right? Nicholas Walters hasn't fought again. Rickendow hasn't taken a real fight since then. Like, Loma doesn't just beat you. He beats you up and makes you quit. Doing that to Lopez at 20 years old, I think Lopez is, or 21, could have a damaging impact on his career. There's no reason to have him go anywhere near Loma. And he's going to outgrow 135, so he never has to fight Loma. Like, and I'm not saying he should duck him. I'm just saying, like, that fight is way too soon for him. Fighting Diego Magdaleno does not make you ready for Lomachenko.
Well, to be fair,
Like,
that's not who's next. Like, to be fair, he's fighting Edis Tatali, who's a top 25 lightweight, and then he's going to fight Richard Commey after that, in his theory. So, even in a sense, in your theory, he's not fighting Loma next. That's two fights down the line. That's his third fight next, so to speak. And if he does beat Commey impressively, I don't know it's out of the question that he beats Loma. Let's say he has that breakout performance against Commey. Is it really far-fetched then?
If he has a breakout performance, but that's climbing the ladder. I still think he should fight someone like Beltran before he fights Commey.
Absolutely agree with
like
you. But that's not in the reality we're living in right now, it looks like. So again, if he had that breakout performance against Commey that he looked great in, is it far-fetched that he beats Lomachenko?
If he has a breakout performance against Commey, but that's a big if.
It is a big if. It is.
That's still a big difference between Commey and I like Commey. I'm a Commey fan. But that's still a big difference between him and Lomachenko.
Absolutely. Just like Billy Joe Saunders having I would say, breakout performance against David Lemieux is not the same as, like, let's say him having that same performance against Canelo or Triple G.
Right.
Or any of those other top guys in the middleweight division, right? But it was still a breakout performance where we could clearly see the elite level of that fighter. I think Lopez could easily have that against Commey. And I think it may be the more unlikely outcome because Commey is more battle-tested. He is a bruiser. He is very dominant in the pocket. But, hell, I want to see it. And maybe Lopez does get, quote, ruined. Maybe he does end up like Fernando Vargas in a way. Or maybe he doesn't. But I still like to see it. Top Rank doesn't have a lot of options, so why not make it?
And I said the same thing when Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather won his first world title. He beat a guy named Gennaro Hernandez, who had just beaten, not that long before, I beat Azuma Nelson. And I said the same thing. You wouldn't remember this because you were like 2 years old. But like, this is way too soon. Floyd's going to get destroyed by Gennaro Hernandez. Like, this is a terrible fight to put him in.
Yep.
And
that was in his second year. That was in Mayweather's second year of his career. Of his pro career, I should say.
And Gennaro's only loss was to De La Hoya at 135. So he was undefeated at 130 and had just beaten Azuma Nelson. And they were putting Floyd in with that guy. I'm like, Floyd's going to lose that fight. Like, that's way too soon. But Floyd was that great. So maybe Teofimo Lopez is that great. We'll find out. If it were me, I wouldn't rush him into that fight. Especially, I would have him. He's fighting that Swedish guy. What's his name? How do you say his name? Who's the guy he's fighting?
Edis Tatali, I think is how
Totley. I think he's number 17 in the world.
No,
he's decent. He's not bad. I've seen worse.
18 in the world. Sorry. Yo,
I
get
don't know
this.
why
He's
they're
the number 1 of 1 ranked lightweights in Finland. number 1 of 1.
Swedish. Is he?
That's good.
He's from Finland.
He's Finnish. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good being Swedish. Number 1 in Finland.
1 of 1. There's no number 2. And then Usyk.
Yes, your guy.
Usyk's gonna clearly.
I'm Phil. I'm very Phil.
What was that? Sorry.
He is very Phil. He's clearly going to clean up the heavyweight division. I think the Commey is a good introductory fight into the heavyweight division, but there's no reason to have him take a bunch of tune-up fights and intermediate fights. Let him fight the Commey and then let him fight Joshua. I mean, it's not like Holyfield or David Haye where they're going to try to bulk him up a little bit and have him gain weight, get bigger over time. If you do that, you're going to take away his flexibility and his reflexes. So this version of Usyk, whatever he weighs, 215, whatever, 220, that's the one that we're going to be seeing in the heavyweight division. Like, because you don't want to bulk him up because that could take away from what makes him so special. So giving him time, giving him a year or two to develop as a heavyweight, I think it's just a waste of his prime because you're not going to change him, right? Either he can take a heavyweight punch or he can't. But bulking him up makes him worse, not better. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I agree.
Fu, Rob, you want to weigh in on that?
I guarantee you Fu was not paying attention. Rob might.
No, I was 100% paying attention. I can listen to 2 things and do 2 things at once.
No, we're men. We can't multitask, guys. Come on.
Yeah. I don't think they want to bulk him up too much. I agree with you. His skill set is not built around being the bigger bull, like a bully. His skill set's built around being able to move, being able to get in and out, box. Like he's same as he's like a fucking heavy. He's gonna be a heavyweight Lomachenko. Like, I mean, you're not gonna want to make him a 230-pound guy. Like, you're right. I think he'll probably be more in the weight class of like the weight of like a Wilder, but
no, he's gonna be heavier than Wilder.
Gary,
you think?
Gary, any other points? We're gonna go to another caller. Just want to wrap up the show.
No, yeah, that's all I got.
Thank you, Gary, for the call.
Yo, Matt.
What?
The chat.
What about
God damn. Jay Willits coming for the throat.
Jay Willits, Aaron, man. Getting at Rob in the chat. Holy shit. Going straight for the jugular. Let's go to 901. I think that's Mr. DAZN. Mr. DAZN. What is up?
No. You need to redact that. He's not Mr. DAZN anymore.
Hey, look. Yo, what's going on? It's the one and only Mr. DAZN. You know me, man. I'm a true boxing fan, and I would like to call myself a boxing expert. I've been watching boxing since I was a child. Like, I would say about 4 years old with my father and my brothers. So it's not a fight I never miss. Like, I watch all Felix Trinidad fights, all Evander Holyfield fights, all Riddick Bowe fights, Lennox Lewis, Oscar De La Hoya, Bernard Hopkins, Roy Jones Jr. The list goes on. So, I'm always ready for a debate. I'm always ready for a debate, by the way. If anybody, is a question anybody got for me, I'm more than happy to answer any question.
I have a question.
Okay, yes, sir. I'm listening. Yes,
did
sir.
you call into the Boxing Voice today?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I sure did. They said
Did
Deontay
you not
Wilder
say-
had,
Did you not
Deontay
say
Wilder
fuck
had
the
said
zone?
something about me.
Didn't you say
Yes,
fuck the
I
zone?
did because look, wait, hear me out. Hear me out because I'm a loyal DAZN fan. I believe I had DAZN before anybody, and I'm a true DAZN fan. But there's some speculation going on right now about me, myself, and Deontay Wilder. So, I mean, yesterday I called in the Boxing Voice. They told me Deontay Wilder had said something about me. So he asked about me, and it was like I don't know if it was a misunderstanding of if he was reaching out to me or if he has a problem with me. So I called in today, and it was kind of like I would say I was throwing him off a little bit because I want to know what's the plan. You know what I mean? I know Deontay Wilder had he had an incident when he had pulled up on somebody. So I mean, I'm trying to see if Deontay Wilder trying to pull up on me, cause I'm trying to get my profile up. You know what I'm saying? We could throw the gloves on me and Deontay. I mean, that could be my shining moment. This could be my shot of a lifetime. To get in the ring with Deontay Wilder, he said H Money name. I am H Money, Mr. DAZN. I am H Money, Mr. DAZN. So if Deontay Wilder wants to put on some gloves, because I speak the truth.
Is this happening now? Have I fallen asleep? And this
I'm serious.
All right, I'm just checking.
You said what now?
No, you're all good.
Yeah.
Carry on, man. You're on a roll.
I'm serious about this. No, hear me out. I'm serious about this. Like, I'm always down for a fight. I get in fights all the time. I've been in fights as a kid, as a grown man. Like, I won fights. I took a loss before. Like, I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? And if Deontay, like I said, if Deontay Wilder he got a problem with me, we can meet up. We can meet up, bro, any day, because I speak the truth about him. Because Deontay Wilder, he hasn't been beating people. Because Deontay Wilder been ducking Dylan White for years. Am I wrong for saying that? Am I wrong for saying that I think Dylan White will knock him out?
No,
am I wrong for that?
I mean, I don't agree with it, but you can say it, sure.
It's your opinion.
Why not? Well, so you don't agree that Deontay Wilder has been ducking Dylan White?
I don't agree.
You don't agree with that?
I don't think Dylan White knocks out Deontay Wilder. No, I don't think that.
I'm just asking, do you think Deontay Wilder's been ducking Dylan White?
Not really.
That's a yes or no question.
Not really. No.
Why not? Because he's fighting Dominic Breazeale, who he said is a mandatory, but when Dylan White is mandatory, he's making all these fucking excuses.
He didn't
talking
say it's
about nobody knows Dylan White. But
Dylan
White is doing pay-per-views in London, though. He's doing pay-per-views in the UK.
Yeah.
And he's a millionaire, Dylan White, but nobody knows Dylan White, right?
I didn't say that. And also, you do understand that Wilder didn't say that Breazeale's the Mando. The WBC did. Right? Like, you do understand those aren't the same
Okay, I'm
people.
just saying. He makes all these excuses when it comes to Dylan White, but when it's time for him to fight Dominic Breazeale, he's saying, "Oh yeah, it's beef between me and Dominic Breazeale, so I'm gonna fight him."
He
Deontay
literally.
Wilder, come on now, we seen him get slept. We seen Deontay Wilder go to sleep with headgear on. We know he got a weak chin like his brother. It runs in his family.
We've also seen Dylan White lose by TKO and knockout.
Mr. DAZN back.
Anthony Joshua. Yeah, Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
Okay.
And in the amateurs.
Buddy.
And in the amateurs, just like Deontay Wilder.
No, he got dropped. He did. Matter of fact, he didn't even go.
So you don't think Dylan White? You don't think Dylan White? You don't think Mr. DAZN? Mr. DAZN. You don't think that Dylan White's ever been knocked out in his life?
Dylan White, yeah, he got knocked out by Anthony Joshua.
Cool. Okay, so that doesn't really matter. Same like Wilder getting knocked out in the amateurs doesn't really matter.
On
top of that,
he doesn't have a strong chin. He has a weak chin.
On top of that,
who has he beat? Who has Wilder beat?
Luis Ortiz, who's a better opponent than Dylan White.
Ortiz, who was he a champion? Was Luis Ortiz ever champion? Who did he beat?
Was Dylan White ever a champion?
He's 40 years
was
old.
Was Dylan White ever a
40,
champion?
Matthew.
Mr. DAZN, was Dylan White ever a champion? No.
Dylan White is
no.
the
Damn,
third
he
best
said your full
heavyweight in the
name.
world.
He's three.
No.
Said Matthew.
No, but that's not what you said. You said Luis. Hold on, Mr. DAZN. Mr. DAZN. You better, Mr. DAZN.
You seen him go to sleep.
Mr. DAZN, I will mute your ass every fucking time if you keep cutting me off. Okay. And then I'll go back to you because it'll be easier this way then. Okay.
Dylan White is the WBC silver champion.
Thank you, Rob. Your point about Luis Ortiz, your very first point to detract from him was like, was he ever a champion? Well, my first point about Dylan White to detract from him will be, has he ever been a champion? And guess what? The answer for both is no. So how about we take that out of the criteria for shitting on Luis Ortiz, who's a top 5 heavyweight? Back to you, Mr. DAZN.
Okay, look, to answer this, at least Dylan White beat a freaking champion. At least he beat a champion. At least he beat Joseph Parker, who was the champion. Luis Ortiz, Joseph Parker, sir. Joseph Parker, Matthew.
But
yes, sir.
but again,
WBO
Joseph Parker,
champion,
Mr. DAZN,
Mr.
Mr. DAZN.
Champion.
I don't know your full first name, so I'm not going to call you that. Okay, so relax. Secondly, Joseph Parker was a vacant champ when he became champion. What are you fucking talking about, bro? He's no better champion. Let me finish. Let me finish my point. He's no better champion than Bermain Stavern or Charles Martin, bro. What are you talking about? Those are all the vacant champs that came up after the Klitschko's retired.
What about Deontay Wilder, then?
He beat one of those vacant champs, just like AJ beat one of those vacant champs.
And he beat Klitschko, too. He beat
Klitschko off of a 2-year layoff and a loss. Congrats. He wasn't the champion then.
And Joseph Parker.
Great. And again, Joseph Parker is like Charles Martin.
He beat Povetkin, too, who was a champion and a gold medalist. Come on, man.
What champion? What champion? When was he champion? What belt?
WBA. He was a WBA champion.
No, he wasn't. He was the regular champion. He was the regular champion, fam. He was never
all these belts.
He was never the champion. You have the Klitschko's.
He was a gold medalist. He was also a gold medalist, Povetkin.
Cool. That's awesome. And
okay, but hey, look, it's cool. All publicity is good publicity. Deontay Wilder did an interview. He spoke about me. So, it's all good. I got excited. I called in or whatever. I had to address the issue. But, I don't know if he's taking shots at me. I got to watch the interview. I don't know if he took shots or what. Like I said, man, it's good. It's good in this and bad in it. So, I can't complain. I'm just happy that the heavyweight champion of the world know who I am because of every time I call in this show or the Boxing Voice, guess what? He's listening to us. He's listening to me. He knows who I am. So I'm doing something right. So also, let's talk about Usyk real quick because Usyk, he's a gold medalist and he's an undisputed champion. He was an undisputed cruiserweight champion like Evander Holyfield, moving up to heavyweight. But unlike Evander Holyfield, Usyk won a gold medal. Evander had a bronze medal. Okay, let's talk about the potential matchup of Usyk versus Anthony Joshua. There's never been a matchup like this where you got two champions who has 4 belts. Both champions got 4 belts. Both champion in my eyes are undisputed. Okay, and guess what? They're in their prime. Both are undefeated gold medalists fighting for the heavyweight title. Name one time it was a match like this where you had 2 gold medalists in their prime, undisputed champions meeting up and fighting. Name a bigger match than this. Anybody.
I can name a bigger fight than AJ Usyk. AJ Wilder. They're easy. You don't need 2 gold medals.
But AJ Wilder is not a gold medalist.
You don't need 2 gold medals. That's my point. That's my point. That's my point. That's my point, Mr. DAZN. I don't think you understand my point. Those gold medals account for something. But when you have the guy that you hate and that you think is this awful boxer.
I don't hate him.
Oh, let me finish. Let me finish my point, please.
Mr.
DAZN, please let me finish my point before you cut me off again. Thank you. If there's this guy that you don't like, that you think is bad for the division, blah, 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 and yet he is still the better matchup, and on top of that, the bigger matchup for AJ, then yeah, that gold medal doesn't mean that much at the end of the day. It means something, not everything though. And that's why AJ Wilder's a bigger fight than AJ Usyk. Well, that's not why, but there's tons of reasons why, but that's just another reason.
Also, we don't recognize the IBO belt.
90 seconds.
The IBO is a world title, bro.
No, it's not.
Floyd Mayweather has an IBO title.
So?
Yes, it is.
So?
Why not?
I'd say so. I say so. I say so. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Mr. DAZN. Mr. DAZN. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Fuck the
Okay,
IBO.
Matthew.
Don't peddle
Okay,
that
Matthew.
bullshit on this show.
I like the IBO.
I don't care.
I'm a fan of the IBO.
And that shows your
I'm a
level
fan
of
of the
intelligence, Mr. DAZN, that you like the IBO.
60 seconds.
Whatever he likes.
No, that's bullshit to like the IBO. That's a
Well,
bullshit thing to like.
It looks nice.
You like the IBO because it's a way to excuse. Hold on, Mr. DAZN, please. I'm talking again. Don't interrupt me. You like the IBO because it gives you an excuse to big up your fighters that you like. Fuck the IBO. It's as important as the toilet paper I wipe my ass with. Okay? That's what I have to say about it again. And also, do not peddle the IBO bullshit on this show. It's the same with the WBU, all these other fucking bullshit belts. Don't peddle that on this show.
I think we have found the cure
We
for fevers.
we are smarter than that, Mr. DAZN. We're smarter than that.
Injection.
You're not gonna pull one over us.
Mr. DAZN cured Matt.
You're not gonna pull one over us, smart guy.
So much better.
Fuck your IBO belt. Fuck off. If you like that, if you think that's a legit belt, that again shows your level of intelligence or ignorance.
I might know more boxing than you, sir.
No, you don't. If you think the IBO is a legit world belt, you don't know more than boxing than me. Fuck off. Bye.
Nobody recognizes the IBO as a legit belt. That's why they say 3 of the 4 major belts.
Get the fuck out of here. And then to say that you know more about boxing than me? Ha! Ha! Get the fuck out of here. I'm going to go to Santiago in LA. I don't have time for that bullshit. That's dumber than Artem Lobov, Paulie Malignaggi, bare knuckle boxing. IBO's stupider than that bullshit. It's less, you know what? There is less credibility with the IBO than bare knuckle boxing. Stop.
You just said it's stupider.
More stupid. Stupider is probably a word. Like funner became a word. I bet stupider became a word. Santiago in LA.
Trolling you for no reason is probably legitimately a word.
Santiago.
The IBO scoring champion.
The IBO, yeah, champion of mixed combat radio.
Don't do that, Rob. Don't do that, Rob. I really like you. Don't do that, man. Don't do me dirty like that.
Don't do me dirty.
Oh God, what's up? What's up, guys?
The disrespect. You don't say IBO.
Right now,
I didn't call you Adolf or anything. Come on. How you getting on, Santi? What's going on?
I'm doing good, man. I'm heading to Hollywood. I'm gonna do DoorDash today. I'm calling into the show, and it's funny how the conversation has spun, considering what the topics are at hand. So I would rather stick to the topics at hand if you guys don't mind. Usyk to Commey, I think it's a good introduction fight for Usyk for sure. I definitely agree with Gary that as a heavyweight, he should stick to being a light heavyweight. Because the key for Usyk, for me, is going to be that mobility. He does not need to bulk up. He does not need to be this, big, massive guy. If he wants to weigh 202 pounds or 205 pounds, so be it. I feel that he has more than enough. And he's only a cruiserweight. That's the thing. He's only a cruiserweight. Okay? He's not Roy Jones, who started his career at 160 and moved up, as far as 190, He doesn't need to bulk up so much. He can be a guy like, Evander Holyfield, who for the most part of his early heavyweight career was 208, 212 pounds. Wilder's a pretty skinny heavyweight, weighs in usually around 214, 217. So it'll be interesting to see, too, because definitely the way he performs in this fight is going to tell us where he's at. Whether or not he takes a shot, because this is heavyweight boxing. One shot will lay anyone out as long as it's a perfect shot. That's all that matters when it comes to heavyweight boxing. And that's why Matt's not exactly a big fan of it. But, again.
So Santi is with Gary here that every heavyweight has one punch KO power.
Not every heavyweight has one punch KO power, but in heavyweight boxing, it only takes one punch to not lay a guy out.
I think that's the same thing.
Relatively, but that's semantics. Also, I love the conversation with Crawford and Khan that basically it's a matter of like, all right, so how many rounds is it going to be before he gets laid out? Because me personally, I'm already calling it 4th round knockout. I definitely think that Crawford's going to maybe take 1 or 2 rounds to get adjusted to that speed of Khan, because that's probably the last great thing that Khan has with him before he times him, lays him out, puts him out, and Khan hopefully calls it a career after that. And I like Khan. I followed Khan since his early days with Freddie Roach. You know, I saw his lockout loss to Brutus Prescott. So I like Khan. I honestly had him over Canelo, even though I was damn sure Canelo was going to knock him out. And for a while he did well, but that's just the running story with Khan these days. He does well, he gets laid out, and then it's either a struggle or he gets knocked the fuck out. It's a shame where his career has gone, because there was so much promise for him, and that glass chin of his, man, it did him dirty. It did him so dirty. And, yeah, man, it's just kind of like, hopefully after this we get Spence or one of the other top welterweights, because, you know, at this point, to me, Crawford Khan's no different than Lomachenko Krolla. You know, and Lomachenko Krolla is basically a stay busy fight for Lomachenko. I expect him to do what he always does, beat the shit out of Anthony Krolla, and I like Krolla too. I followed his story from when he got attacked and his recovery and coming back. But against a guy like Lomachenko, please, you'll give a good showing and then you'll get stopped. It's as simple as that. What other topics were you guys talking about? Because I think I'm missing just one more topic.
The Manny Pacquiao, Ryzen stuff, Teofimo, Richard Commey, Triple G fighting Steve Rolls or whatever his name was.
All right, so basically outside of that, I pretty much said what I needed to say then, because all those other topics I think everybody else already talked about, especially you guys. Honestly, that's probably all I really do have to say. If you guys have any other questions regarding any of the topics, though, feel free to shoot. Otherwise, that's my call. Keep doing what you guys are doing, and I am looking forward to preview day with you guys, so expect me to be on the line.
That's true. And also look forward to the barbecue on Saturday for the Shield Hammer fight. That will be fun at JP's house. By the way, guys, no live fight chat for Shield Hammer.
You suck.
I do apologize. Rob, you can definitely do one. I'll figure out how to produce it if you want. But we're going to all get together. The West Coast crew, you know, we haven't got together in a while, so we wanted to get together and hang out.
Go and spread your germs amongst your friends.
Well, hopefully I'll be healthy by then, obviously.
Wow, Mr. DAZN did cure you. So.
Yo, I feel so much worse now, I'll be honest. Yo, yelling when you have a fever is not fun. But anyways, guys, that's it for the show. I will say this again. I'll reiterate it from the chat. Fuck the IBO, and if you're down with the IBO, then fuck you too, to quote the great Tupac. Don't peddle that bullshit here. We're smarter. We're smarter than the average YouTuber. Stop.
If you don't chew Big Red, then fuck you.
Facts. Facts, fool. Facts. Have a great day, great night, wherever you are. I'm Matt, the Hipster Hunter. Find me, Matt Hunter, MCR, all platforms. Damn, fool. That was one of your best jokes ever. That might, right? That might be your best one, man. That's a Hall of Fame moment. I'm gonna.
Sometimes may be good, sometimes may be shit.
That's true. Most of the time for you, it's shit. That was a good one.
Yep.
Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Hit the like button, share the show wherever you're listening. Leave a review on iTunes, drop a comment, all that fun shit. Rob?
Yeah, fun show. You know, good to see you grab the microphone tonight, Matt. You know, felt like you had
did
to
I grab it?
mic.
Did I grab the microphone? Did I do all the?
I can't see you, but I'm guessing you did.
Oh, that's right. You can't see me. Oh.
I've got no visual cues.
My bad.
But
still a good show though.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, follow me, UK Bob MCR, Instagram and Twitter. We'll be back tomorrow at some point, maybe if there's some news. If not, maybe a Patreon show. So if you don't want to miss out, head over to patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio, I think it is. All right. But yeah, help support the show. We've done quite a few just lately. Well, sort of. There's a few there, but we want to get back into.
Last show was fun. Go check out last show. That was fun.
Really good show. If you want more of Gary's silliness, head right over there. Sign up, catch the show. Very good show. Lots of banter. #the bants. But yeah, foo.
Yeah, you can find me at Fugatti_MCR on all platforms. My Instagram is now not private, so you guys can actually see that it is me. It took me, I don't know, however long to figure out it was private. But I would like to say, like, Matt and I are going to be starting a Game of Thrones Patreon show once it starts this week. Game of Thrones is back. Yes. I cannot wait.
Also, Fu, we have been asked by good Patreon Sam to do more political stuff after me and Gary's debate. So maybe
let's rock it.
So I know you've been wanting to do a little political podcast. Maybe we might start one on Patreon too. Rob, I know you're disgusted. You don't have to be on it. Don't worry.
Yeah, man, I'm always down. If people want to listen, then that's great. But I'm very excited for this Game of Thrones one. I know we probably have a lot of Game of Thrones listeners, as the show has like 100 million fucking watching. So can't wait.
That's it. Have a good one. Peace.
Stay off the weed.
That's fucking illegal.
What an idiot! Oh, what a loser!
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
Are you off your tits? Have you been smoking something?
Hey, pussy, are you still there?